This is my sourdough starting. Okay, back to this. Okay, I did some research and apparently this is called hooch. It's when fermentation occurs because your starter burned through its food supply. So it's hungry and I have to feed it, which is crazy because it's only been like 17 hours since I started this. It's, what time is it? 7 a.m. I started this at like 2:45 yesterday afternoon, so yeah, let's feed it, I guess. I don't know if I'm doing this right. I don't know. And then mix. Oops. This feels so nasty. I don't like it. Okay, and this is where I'm leaving off. And I think I might put a rubber band on the container now. So maybe it's a good time to start measuring it. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I don't know what's going on, but when I fed it this morning, it was about here. And I just checked back and now it's here. So I put a rubber band around it to monitor it, and we'll see. I smelled it and it smells like bread and a little bit acidic, but mostly like bread. So I don't know. And it also has little bubbles forming. And it hasn't been 24 hours yet, so I don't know what is happening. Maybe it's because the house is hot. That could be it. So on day 2 it had tripled in size, but I forgot to record it because I'm just forgetful. So but at this point it was starting to die down a little bit. There were still some bubbles in it. I think they call this the inactive stage. I did my usual additions of flour. I think 1 tablespoon of flour and a half a tablespoon of water. The best advice I saw online was to just pay attention more to the consistency rather than to getting a perfect ratio. So I just focused on getting it to like a thick pancake batter kind of consistency, and I feel like that just makes the whole process smoother. Like it's more stable when you follow that. It's been about 2 to 3 hours, and now we have close forming, which is good, allegedly. A little less than 24 hours. We saw a lot of activity, and it pretty much doubled. Like the first 24 hours of me making it. So on the second day, day 2, it was practically dead. There was no activity. Same thing on day like 3 to 4, and then on day 5, I saw like a little bit of it. Basically, I started to wake up again. So I saw a little rise, and then the same thing happened today on day 7. Just a tiny rise happening. So moving that by day 8, it starts to double, and then I can bake something. So I think they said you have to wait like for it to double 3 days in a row. So I have to like check 3 days to see if it doubles. But yeah, and also I haven't discarded anything yet because I started off with like a really tiny amount. So, and this is day 8. Okay, and this is what it looks like just after adding more flour and water. I think starting tomorrow I'm going to start discarding because we're slowly approaching the halfway mark, and I think the first day it tripled, so I want to have room in here for like if it starts tripling in size again, so it doesn't like run over the top. On day 9, it finally started to double, but it took about 12 hours to double, and the internet folks say that it needs to happen within 4 to 6 hours. So while it is active, it's not strong enough to bake a bread. So we have to wait a couple more days, and then if it doubles within 4 to 6 hours, 3 consecutive days, then it's strong enough. Also, I hate the texture. I hate the holes. I have trypophobia. I really don't like looking at this. So I just added my flour, and this is what day 10, I believe. Either day 10 or 11, I don't know. But yeah, I decided to name it because everybody names their starter, and this one is going to be dopamine. After 13 days, it was time to bake. Everybody names their dough, so I decided to name mine dopamine. I also followed my friend's recipe just because she also lives in Trinidad, and I realized that the temperature of your house and the climate that you live in has a huge impact on how your dough and your starter will behave. So I did follow her recipe, but I took some liberties which got me in trouble in the end, and you're gonna see it throughout the whole process. So in her recipe, she has 4 cups of flour and about 1 1/4 cups of water. Another thing is, she gave me the recipe in grams, and I had to convert everything because I don't have a scale. So I was just winging it. I was just doing whatever. After I added my starter to the bowl, I added my water. And this is my first mistake. You're supposed to add lukewarm water, but wasn't me taking liberties. I genuinely forgot and added room temperature water. That took me like 10 minutes to stir in because it just would not dissolve, but I finally got it. It just took a really long time. Then I added my flour. Now this was the instruction that I disregarded. She told me that I needed to knead for about 8 to 10 minutes, and she realized that through trial and error, because in a lot of the recipes for people living in more temperate climates, they knead for a really short time. But I guess the temperature does something, or I don't know, maybe our flour is different, but she needed to knead for about 8 to 10 minutes to build up the gluten. I disregarded that, and I stopped kneading after about 3 minutes because I'm lazy. And I will learn my lesson.
What the dog doing?
And that was one of the first signs of things going wrong. The dough ripped, and that's because the gluten strands weren't built up because of my lack of kneading. And the reason I didn't knead it that long was because it was getting so sticky, and it was just really frustrating. I didn't want to deal with all that, so I just gave up after like 2 minutes. And as I continued to do my stretch and folds every 30 minutes, it just kept ripping because the gluten wasn't there.
What the dog doing?
was just doing a whole set of nonsense. By this point, I had tried to overcompensate for my lack of kneading by doing extra stretch and folds. I did about 6 different sessions. I think usually they recommend 3 or 4, spaced out by like 30-minute intervals. Yeah, I did about 6 sessions. So, that ended up not making a difference because, as you can see, the dough is still like bumpy and it was still really sticky too. At this point, the dough is supposed to start smoothing out. Mine was not getting smooth at all. So, you can learn from my mistake and make sure you knead.
One eternity later.
I let my dough proof on the counter for about 2 to 3 hours. Then when I took it out of the bowl, it wasn't looking too right. So I put it back in the bowl and let it sit for another hour. Like, when I tell you what I was doing nonsense, but I was just winging it. I was like, it's an experiment. If I fail, I fail. It's not the end of the world.
A few moments later.
So this was my second time taking it out the bowl. According to sourdough law, you're not supposed to see any webbing at the bottom of the bowl when you take it out. It's supposed to come off clean. Mine left some webbing. It was a lot the first time, and then when I let it sit for another hour, it was slightly less, but still too much. I also use a stainless steel bowl, which we're not supposed to use. Supposed to use either glass or ceramic, but the only alternative I had was plastic, and I didn't want to use that, so stainless steel. I didn't care. I didn't really care. After that, I did my laminations. I don't know if that's the right term, because I googled what lamination is, and that involves folding in butter. I didn't use any butter, I just folded the dough by itself, but I heard everybody else using that word, so I'm going to go with it. Just the thing where you spread it out and then you fold it in thirds and roll it, and then you push it back and forth to shape it. Yeah, I did that. Also, my dough was getting sticky at the bottom when I was doing the push and pull thing, which I don't think is supposed to happen, but whatever. I did the lamination thing about 3 times, again, to overcompensate for my lack of kneading. And after that, I just plopped it in the bowl thing. I didn't have those bannets, or whatever they call it. So I just put a clean kitchen towel in a bowl, dusted it generously with flour, and then plopped it in there so it wouldn't stick. And then I put it in the fridge for cold proofing overnight.
2,000 years later.
Oh, that's supposed to look like this. It does not look right, but it hasn't looked right since the beginning, so just continuing with this, I guess. With a score. God, what am I doing? Hold on. I didn't have a Dutch oven, so I just ended up using 2 loaf pans. What you have to do is spray the dough generously with water, and then you cover your loaf pan with one that's the exact same size, and that's gonna just be the same exact requirement as a Dutch oven. The water has to rise really well, which thank God, because who knows what would happen if I didn't do that. And then I just let it bake, covered for 20 minutes, I think, and then uncovered for another 20 minutes. And it's done. When I took it out of the oven, it looked surprisingly good, really, really good. I was shocked, in tears even.